To help us reach more people who need help with math, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment on this video. Also, feel free to work alongside this video so that you can learn the math procedures faster. Pause this video as often as necessary while you are working alongside this video. This is from page 28 of the Math Mechanic Fractions and Mixed Numbers tutorial. Retrieving the factors of a number. In this example, we are going to find the factors of 16. Step 1. Retrieve the smallest and largest factors of 16. The smallest factor of a number that is greater than 0 will always be 1. I will repeat. The smallest factor of a number greater than 0 will always be 1. The largest factor of a number greater than 0 will always be the number that you are retrieving the factors for. I'll repeat that again. The largest factor of a number that is greater than 0 will always be the number that you are finding the factors for. So, 16 is greater than 0, so the smallest factor will be 1. 1 is the smallest factor of 16. We are trying to find the factors of 16. Therefore, since we are finding the factors for the number 16, 16 will be the largest factor. Again, 1 is the smallest factor, and since we are looking for the factors of 16, 16 is the largest factor. We now move on to step 2. In step 2, we are going to find the halfway point of the number that we are finding the factors for. Step 2, we are going to find the halfway point of the number that we are finding the factors for. So, to do this, we will check to see if the number that we are finding the factors for is an even number or an odd number. 16 is an even number. 16 is an even number, so we will perform step 2B. Step 2B. 16 is an even number, therefore, we are going to divide 16 by the number 2. Divide 16 by the number 2. The result will be the halfway point. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. 8 is the halfway point of 16. I will repeat. We divided 16 by the number 2. That gave us an answer or result of 8. 8, therefore, is the halfway point of 16. Now, since there is no remainder, 2 and 8 will be factors of 16. Again, I will repeat. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. There is no remainder. Therefore, 2 and 8 are factors of 16. Just make a note that whenever there is no remainder, the number that you are dividing by and the number that is the result of the division will be factors of the number that you are trying to find the factors for. Next, we will move on to step 3. Step 3. To get the rest of the factors, you will have to divide into the number that you are trying to find the factors for, starting with the number 3. I will repeat. To get the rest of the factors, you will have to divide into the number that you are trying to find the factors for, starting with the number 3. If the result of the division does not have a remainder, then the divisor and quotient are factors of the number. So, we will divide the number by 3 through the halfway point -1, or until you attempt to divide by a number that has been proven to be a factor. I will repeat. We divide the number 3 through the halfway point -1. Divide the number by the number 3 through the halfway point -1, or until you attempt to divide by a number that has been proven to be a factor. So remember, the halfway point of 16 is 8. Remember, in step 2, we divided 16 by 2. That gave us a result of 8. So 8 is the halfway point of 16. The halfway point of 16 is 8. So we subtract. We subtract 1 from the halfway point. So 8 is the halfway point. So we subtract 1 from 8. 8 minus 1 equals 7. 8 minus 1 equals 7. So we will start dividing 16 by the numbers 3 through 7. We will start dividing 16 by the numbers 3 through 7. 16 divided by 3 equals 5 with a remainder of 1. 5 with a remainder of 1. There is a remainder of 1. Therefore, 3 is not a factor of 16. If there is a remainder after the division, then the divisor, or the number that you divided by, is not a factor of the number. So there is a remainder of 1, therefore 3 is not a factor of 16. Next, we move on and divide by 4. 16 divided by 4 equals 4. There is no remainder. There is no remainder. So 4 is a factor of 16. 4 is a factor of 16. This is a factor of 16 because there is no remainder after dividing by 4. This number right here is a factor of 16. Next, we will divide by 5. 16 divided by 5 equals 3 with a remainder of 1. There is a remainder of 1. Therefore, 5 is not a factor of 16. 16 divided by 5 equals 3 with a remainder of 1. There is a remainder. Therefore, 5 is not a factor of 16. Next, we will divide by 6. 16 divided by 6 equals 2 with a remainder of 4. There is a remainder of 4. Therefore, 6 is not a factor of 16. There is a remainder. Therefore, 6 is not a factor of 16. Next, we will divide by 7. 16 divided by 7 equals 2 with a remainder of 2. There is a remainder of 2. Therefore, 7 is not a factor of 16. Since there is a remainder, 7 is not a factor of 16. Okay. 4 is a remainder of 16 because there is no remainder. 4 is a factor of 16. 4 is a factor of 16 because when we divide 16 by it, there is no remainder. So that is why 4 is a factor of 16. So we have now reached the halfway point because we've already established that 8 is the halfway point, and we divide 16 up to the halfway point minus 1. So the halfway point minus 1 is 7. Therefore, we will not do any further dividing to find the factors of 16. The factors for the number 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. The factors for the number 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. 1 is the smallest factor from step 1. 1 is the smallest factor. 16 is the largest factor. When we divided 16 by 2, there was no remainder. The result was 8. So dividing 16 by 2 gave us no remainder. So 2 is a factor of 16. The result, which is 8, is also a factor of 16 because there was no remainder. And then 4 is a factor of 16 because when we divided 16 by 4, there was no remainder. So that number 4 is also a factor of 16. Again, I will repeat. The factors for the number 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16.